Hi everyone, I am Kirtana, and today we are going to see a very beautiful short story, Vanka, and this short story was written by Anton Chekhov. So let's get started. First, let's see about the author. Anton Chekhov was the author of this short story, Vanka. His full name was Anton Pavlovich Chekhov. He was born in Tangrong in Russia. He was considered as the master of modern short story. He is famous for his surprise endings, and he was a Russian short story writer. Now, let's see a simple glance about this short story. This short story was about a 9-year-old orphan boy who was apprenticed to a shoemaker. Stiltly writes a letter to his grandfather asking to be taken to live with him so that he can escape his life of deprivation and mistreatment. Now, let's see the summary of this short story, Vanka. During a Christmas Eve, an orphan boy of name Vanka was writing a letter to his grandfather named Konstantin Markovich, who was a night watchman in a family named Zivare. Vanka's master name was Alyakin. He was very rude to Vanka. This Alyakin was a shoemaker. Even though he was a shoemaker, Vanka did not have shoes to walk. Alyakin thinks that Wonka may run away from him if he has a shoes to wear. To that extent, Alyakin was rude to Wonka. Wonka was so depressed because of this. So he wants to meet his grandfather. He loved his grandfather very much. So he was writing a letter to his grandfather asking him to take him to his house. He was writing his experience in the letter. After completing the letter, he wants to post the letter, but every letter needs the address to be reached. But Wonka just wrote his grandfather's name by the end of the letter. Then he posted the letter with the hope that the letter will reach his grandfather. But only we know that it won't reach his grandfather. So now let's see the themes of Vanka. In Vanka, we have the themes of desperation, suffering, commitment, compassion, and innocence. Taken from the complete short story collection, this story is narrated in the third person by an unnamed narrator. So, first theme desperation. After reading the story, we come to know that just how desperate Vanka is to return to his grandfather. By writing the letter, Vanka was able to outline the mistreatment which he received from Alyakin. There is no sign of compassion in their relationship. Love bond between grandfather and grandson. By reading the story, we come to know that the bond between Vanka and his grandfather is so strong that he was not able to forget his grandfather. Innocence. There is a noticeable sense of naivety or innocence when it comes to Vanka addressing the letter to his grandfather. It is clear to us that because Vanka does not know his grandfather's address, he will never receive it. It shows his innocence. Commitment. In this short story, Chekhov is exploring the theme of commitment. So determined Vanka is to leave Alyakin's home that he takes the time to write a letter to his grandfather outlining the difficulty that he is incurring. As a reader, we were aware that Vanka had no option but to write to his grandfather. The opinion of running away from Alyakin has been taken away from him due to the fact that he has no boots to wear. He cannot walk long distance to his grandfather's home without boots. Though some critics might suggest that there is an element of sadness at the end of the story, Wonka doesn't think like that. He believes that he will be taken away from Alyakin and that drives Wonka towards happiness. Even if that happiness is only in his mind, the reality being that Wonka is to continue to suffer at the hands of Alyakin. But for today, he is a child again with hopes and aim that no longer beaten or defeated by Alyakin. And At last, we come to the end of the short story. I hope you all enjoyed it. So, thank you so much.